Thank you, Mr. Speaker. For years, rural Alberta has voiced their concern with ambulance services. Many Albertans feel centralized on the dispatch of the ambulance service to our local rural areas. The undue stress to our healthcare providers, our hospitals, and our rural Albertans have had enough of it. Today's release of the Rural Healthcare Report, I feel it's time to ask the Minister some of the same questions that he's been asked already. One of the issues facing emergency medical services is ambulances are being used to shuttle non-emergency patients. How is the Minister going to end this absurd practice from happening in the emergency personnel using the emergency situations?
Honourable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With this specific situation, Alberta Health Service increasing its ability to use non-ambulance transfer vehicles such as wheelchair-equipped vans for basic transfers that don't require heavily trained paramedics to help free up rural ambulance for emergency response. When we went out with when the Rural Health Group went out and talked to Albertans, they were concerned about the ability of them controlling their ambulance service, and we need to work with people within rural Alberta to make sure they feel comfortable with what we're doing, and we will do that, Mr. Speaker.
For a supplemental.
To the same Minister, given that we have a limited number of ambulances and staff, and their best time is best responding to and delivering patients to hospital, yet they're stuck in emergency rooms for up to hours waiting for their patients to be admitted, how is this Minister going to make sure our emergency personnel are back in the field where they belong?
Honourable Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We'll be putting protocols in place to ensure that once an ambulance goes into an urban area, that must return as soon as possible back to its home base. This will make sure there's safety and security in the rural community.
The honourable member has one final supplemental.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Given that rural ambulances belong in rural areas, but yet when they finish a call in major centres such as Edmonton, they're tasked to do shuttling services around the city. And instead of returning to their base, what is this Minister going to ensure to make sure that ambulances return to the communities where they're needed the most?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We will put in place again a protocol to ensure that once the ambulance comes into the cities, whether it's Edmonton, Calgary, or Red Deer, that they will have to return immediately back to their communities. They will not be allowed to be reassigned to local duties. They have to be able to support their own communities.